Think about this for a moment. You tell your AI assistant, I need batteries and a new desk chair, and within minutes, they're purchased and on their way. You didn't compare brands, you didn't read reviews, you didn't even see what the AI chose for you until it arrived. This is the promise of agentic commerce, and it's coming faster than most people realize. But here's the question nobody's asking. If AI makes all of our shopping decisions, who really benefits? And what happens to the entire ecosystem of brands, stores, and marketers who spent decades learning how to reach customers? Today, I want to talk about agentic commerce and what it actually means for the future of shopping and business. We're going to use the Amazon versus Perplexity lawsuit as our starting point, but this goes far beyond one legal battle. This is about a fundamental restructuring of commerce, and the implications reach every business from Amazon down to the smallest independent store trying to reach customers online. So let me start with what's happening right now, and then we'll explore what this really means for the entire world. On November 4th, 2025, Amazon filed a lawsuit against Perplexity over a tool called Comet, which is an AI browser that can log into your accounts and complete purchases on your behalf. Amazon claims this violates their terms of service and constitutes computer fraud. Perplexity responded with a blog post titled "Bullying is not innovation," arguing that Amazon's real concern isn't about security, but about protecting their $56 billion advertising business. When an AI agent shops for you, it doesn't see sponsored listings or promoted products. It just finds what you need at the best price. Amazon is also developing their own shopping agent called Buy For Me, which reveals this isn't about opposing AI shopping agents in principle. It's about controlling which AI agents have access to their platform. But here's what makes this significant. The lawsuit is just the first visible battle in what will be a complete transformation of how commerce works. To understand what's at stake, let's look at a contrast between Amazon's approach and what's happening with ChatGPT and Shopify. Earlier this year, ChatGPT launched a feature called Buy It in GPT in partnership with Shopify. This integration allows ChatGPT users to browse products from over 1 million Shopify merchants and complete purchases directly within the chat interface without leaving the platform. This is fundamentally different from what Amazon is trying to prevent. Instead of blocking AI agents or forcing consumers to use only Amazon's proprietary agent, the ChatGPT Shopify model creates an open ecosystem where small businesses, independent sellers, and major brands all have equal access to hundreds of millions of potential customers through AI commerce. For a small business on Shopify, this is transformative. This represents two competing visions for how agentic commerce develops. One, where platforms control access and monetize through gatekeeping. Another, where infrastructure is open, merchants compete on product quality rather than partnership agreements. And this distinction matters because whichever model becomes dominant will shape commerce for the next decade. Let me give you some numbers to understand how quickly this is moving. According to research from Adobe, traffic to retail sites by AI browsers and chat services increased 4,700% year over year by July 2025. Now that's growing from a small base, but the trend is unmistakable. More importantly, McKinsey predicts that by 2030, agentic AI could orchestrate up to over $1 trillion in revenue just in the US retail market, with global projections ranging from $3 to $5 trillion. To put that in perspective, that would represent roughly 10 to 17% of all global retail transactions within 5 years. But here's what makes those numbers meaningful. Users arriving from AI sources aren't casual browsers. The data shows they spend 32% more time on sites, browse 10% more pages, and have significantly higher purchase intent. Google launched something called AI Mode Shopping, where you can upload a picture of yourself and virtually try on clothes. They're working on agentic checkout that tracks products until the price drops to your budget, then automatically prompts you to buy using Google Pay. This isn't a distant future scenario. It's happening right now, and the question is how it develops from here. So let's talk about what this actually means for consumers, because there's a fundamental tension that we need to examine. If the AI is making the final decision about which brand to buy, which store to purchase from, and what product specifications matter most, then are you really making a choice anymore? You're delegating not just the research, but the decision itself. But what about purchases where brand matters, where you have preference, emotional connections, or specific requirements that are hard to quantify? How do you communicate to your AI agent that you prefer sustainable brands, or that you're willing to pay more for American-made products, or that you specifically avoid companies with certain labor practices? This is the training problem. Your AI agent is only as good as its understanding of what your values and preferences are. And most people haven't articulated those preferences clearly even to themselves, let alone to the algorithm. There's also a question of trust. If your AI agent recommends a brand that you've never heard of, do you trust that recommendation? What if it's prioritizing factors that you don't really care about? What if the AI platform has financial arrangements with certain brands that bias its recommendations? This is the choice paradox of agentic commerce. We gain efficiency but potentially lose agency. Now let's talk about what this means for businesses, because traditional marketing is about to face an existential crisis. For the past 20 years, the entire digital marketing playbook has been built around one concept: be visible at the moment of intent. You optimize for Google search, you bid on Amazon keywords, you create content that ranks when somebody searches for your product category. You run Instagram ads to build brand awareness so people think of you when they're ready to buy. All of that becomes significantly less relevant when an AI agent is making the decision. The AI doesn't see your Instagram ads. It doesn't care about SEO optimized blog posts. It's not influenced by your brand storytelling or emotional marketing. It's evaluating products based on specifications, verified reviews, price, delivery speed, return policies, and whatever specific criteria its user has prioritized. This creates an obvious danger. The biggest companies with the deepest pockets will simply pay to become the preferred partners with AI platforms. We'll end up with an ecosystem that's even more pay-to-play than what we have right now. Instead of paying Amazon for sponsored listings, company will pay OpenAI or Gemini to be their default recommendation for their product categories. But there's also an opportunity here, and it's significant. If AI agents are genuinely evaluating products based on objective metrics and authentic user feedback, then companies that actually build better products will have a real advantage for the first time in years. Think about how many mediocre products currently dominate their categories simply because they have the marketing budget to be everywhere. They're not the best products, they're just the most visible. In an agentic commerce world, if the AI is truly comparing specifications and reading real reviews, those products lose their advantage. This is where the ChatGPT Shopify model becomes particularly interesting for small businesses. A small maker creating genuinely better kitchen tools or a sustainable clothing brand with loyal customers suddenly has access to GPT's hundreds of millions of users. They're competing on merit, not just marketing spend. So if you're a business owner or a marketer watching this, what should you actually be doing? Let me break down several strategies that are emerging. First, user-generated content becomes exponentially more valuable. If AI agents are evaluating your products based on authentic reviews and real customer experiences, then your focus needs to shift from creating polished marketing campaigns to creating remarkable products that generate organic advocacy. That becomes one of your most valuable assets. Second, you need to optimize for AI visibility the same way you optimize for Google search, but the rules are different. Instead of keyword stuffing and backlinks, you need detailed product specifications, accurate inventory data, clear pricing, transparent shipping information, and responsive customer service. The AI needs to be able to quickly and accurately understand what you sell and whether you can deliver it. Smaller businesses that are technically nimble might actually have an advantage here. You can update your product feeds quickly. You can respond to customer issues in real time. You can experiment with pricing and position. Large legacy retailers with complex systems and slow bureaucratic processes will struggle to move at the speed AI commerce requires. Third, consider building your own AI shopping assistant. Several platforms are already making this possible if you're a specialty retailer with deep expertise in your category. Let's say you sell running shoes. You could build an AI agent that helps customers find the perfect shoe based on their gait, running style, and goals. That agent becomes a marketing tool and a sales channel simultaneously. The companies that win in agentic commerce will be those that make it easy for AI agents to work with them and that build genuine quality that stands up to objective comparison. There's one more angle that's worth discussing and is particularly relevant for small businesses and niche brands. We're likely to see the emergence of specialty AI agents that cater to specific values or communities, just like some consumers actively choose to shop at farmers markets or support local businesses. Now there could be AI agents specifically optimized for those priorities. These agents wouldn't be trying to serve everyone. They'd serve people who specifically value those characteristics. If you're a small business, your strategy might be to position yourself strongly for these specialty agents rather than trying to compete with mass market brands on general purpose AI platforms. As this develops over the next year or two, there are several things worth paying attention to. First, watch how regulatory bodies respond. The EU is already working on AI regulations that include transparency requirements. If AI platforms are required to disclose financial relationships with brands and explain their recommendation algorithms, that changes everything. The US FTC has already started asking questions about AI-powered shopping and potential customer harm. Second, watch for consolidation versus fragmentation. Will we end up with 3 or 4 dominant AI shopping platforms, or will we see a diverse ecosystem of specialized agents? The answer to that question determines whether this benefits or harms small businesses and market competition. Third, watch how customers actually respond. There's a difference between saying you'd use an AI shopping agent and actually trusting one with your money. The first time someone's AI agent makes a purchase they're unhappy with, how do they react? Do they refine their preferences and try again, or do they revert to shopping manually? Fourth, watch for data breaches and security issues. AI agents with access to your accounts and payment methods are attractive targets for attackers. How companies and platforms handle security will significantly impact consumer adoption. And finally, watch Amazon's lawsuit versus Perplexity. If Amazon wins and successfully blocks third-party AI agents from their platform, that sets a precedent that could limit how open and competitive this market becomes. So coming back to where we started, the Amazon versus Perplexity lawsuit isn't about terms of service or computer fraud. It's about who controls commerce as AI agents become the interface between consumers and the market. The transition to agentic commerce isn't inherently good or bad. It depends entirely on how it's implemented. For consumers, the question is whether you're comfortable delegating purchasing decisions to AI and whether you trust that AI to truly work in your interests rather than the platform's revenue goals. For businesses, the question is how quickly you adapt to a world where traditional marketing matters less and product quality, data, transparency, and operational excellence matter more. This is happening. The question isn't whether agentic commerce arrives, but what shape it will take when it does. I'm genuinely curious what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I read them, and these discussions help shape how I think about these topics. If you found this analysis valuable, I'd appreciate your support through a like and subscribe. I'll keep covering how AI is reshaping different industries and what it means for all of us. Thank you for watching.